As the film begins, the story introduces a panic in New York caused by a virus outbreak, which originates from cockroaches. This outbreak leads to the death of many children. Dr. Peter, the head of the health ministry, becomes deeply troubled by the situation. To tackle this crisis, he calls in Dr. Susan, who is a genetic engineer. She starts researching the problem. Through nearly 9 months of work, Dr. Susan creates a special bug using genetic engineering. This bug is designed to eat cockroaches. She also alters its genetic makeup to make it feel extreme hunger, causing it to consume as many cockroaches as possible before dying quickly. The experiment proves successful as the engineered bugs wipe out the cockroach population, eventually ending the outbreak and saving many children. Dr. Peter feels impressed by Susan's achievement, and eventually they get married. The scene then jumps ahead 3 years. Inside a church, a priest becomes frightened by a mysterious figure and climbs to the roof. However, the shadowy figure follows him, and the priest falls to his death in panic. A boy named Chewy witnesses this from a nearby home. The mysterious man drags the priest's body into the church basement. The next morning, police arrive to investigate. They discover not only the priest's body but also several others, along with multiple missing persons. A doctor is brought in who suspects yellow fever or a similar outbreak. Given the severity of the situation, Dr. Peter is also called to the scene. He believes it could be another epidemic and orders all church doors to be sealed to prevent the spread. The scene shifts to Susan, who is about to leave her lab when she encounters 2 children offering her bugs they collected from a garden. She buys the bugs without much thought. As she prepares to leave, she notices one box shaking violently. Be able to. Curious, she opens it and finds a bug the size of a rat. More than its size, its appearance shocks her. It is the same Judas bug she genetically engineered 3 years ago. Confused about how the bug is still alive, she checks its DNA and confirms it is indeed her creation. Not only is it alive, but it has also evolved and grown dangerously large. While investigating, a hooded man watches her from outside the lab. Taking advantage of her distraction, he steals the bug and disappears. Susan, disturbed by the theft, immediately informs Peter and explains everything, including the DNA match and the sudden disappearance. Peter decides they must restart their research. But first they need the bug. Susan goes to the children who sold her the insect. One of them tells her he found it in a storage room at a subway station. Susan and Peter go there to investigate and discover webs that likely belong to the Judas bugs. Before they can explore further, a police officer arrives and mistakes them for intruders since access to the storage room requires a special warrant. To avoid trouble, Susan calms Peter down and tells the officer they will return with a permit. Meanwhile, the children, driven by greed, hope to find more bugs and sell them for a high price. They enter a small tunnel but are attacked by the same mysterious overcoat-wearing man who earlier killed the priest. He murders the children in a strange manner. The scene then cuts back to Chue, the boy who witnessed the priest's murder. Chue unexpectedly climbs through his house window and enters a church. The next morning, when Chue's father, Manny, comes to wake him, he finds the room empty. Alarmed, he begins searching for him and informs the police. His search eventually brings him near the church. Meanwhile, Susan receives information about a strange creature being discovered nearby. She rushes to the site and sees a giant bug-like creature, roughly the size of a dog. Doctors confirm that all its organs are functional, and it is not a normal insect but a unique creature that lives in colonies, implying many more exist like it. Susan is shocked and instructs a colleague to begin investigating the creature. She then leaves to inform Peter. Peter, along with a companion, is already investigating inside a subway tunnel from where Judas was previously found. Susan waits at the subway station for Peter and others. While waiting, she examines photos of the creature, trying to learn more. As night falls, the station becomes deserted. Susan plans to leave but doesn't. Suddenly, she sees a shadow of a man in a hoodie. She approaches and asks the time, but the man does not respond. Feeling scared, she turns to leave quickly. The man also turns, revealing a major twist. He is not a human but a giant creature, human-sized with wings. The creature flies towards Susan, attacks her, and carries her into a special tunnel. Inside this tunnel, Peter, his colleague, and a police officer are continuing their investigation. A small Judson bug appears before Peter. When Peter stomps on it, the floor beneath them collapses and they fall straight to the ground level of the tunnel. Susan regains consciousness and finds herself surrounded by dead bodies, becoming terrified. Realizing she might be killed too, she grabs a nearby object and searches for an escape route. As she runs, a large Judas bug attacks her. She fights it off with a sword and escapes. Unable to find a way out, she hides in a strange corner. Meanwhile, Peter's companion, exploring another area, finds a cluster of Judas bug eggs. He becomes frightened, realizing the place is extremely dangerous. While trying to flee, he is killed by a human-sized Judas bug. The scene cuts to Manny, still searching for his son, arrives near the same tunnel where Susan is hiding. Hearing her voice, he decides to rescue her and goes to fetch tools to open the tunnel. Peter and the police officer spot him and question his presence. Manny explains that his son is missing and his search led him there. Now, he intends to save a girl trapped below. As soon as the group hears about her, they start rescuing her together. While pulling Susan up, Manny accidentally drops a torch. The sound of it attracts the Judas bugs. Before the bugs attack, the four of them manage to escape their sight. They run toward the subway station with the bugs following them. The subway station is already closed at night, but they rush inside an old, broken train and shut its doors. One bug gets stuck in the closing doors and seems to die. However, it's not actually dead, it is split in half but still active. They realize this when the bug injures the police officer's leg with its claw, after which the officer shoots and kills it. They begin investigating the dead bug. Susan is shocked to see its large lungs. It is the first insect she has seen with such organs. When they remove the outer shell of its face, it resembles a human. Susan guesses that these Judas bugs are mimicking humans to easily blend into human society and hunt them. Susan also realizes that these bugs evolved from the original ones she created. Some mistake during the genetic modification process causes the bugs to evolve rapidly instead of dying. These bugs evolve so quickly in just a few years, faster than even humans do in centuries. While discussing this, their voices attract more bugs that attack the train. Susan notices that the bugs might be sensing human smell. She comes up with a plan and smears the organs of the dead bug on herself and around the train. This way, the bugs are tricked into thinking other bugs are inside, not humans. To escape, they must fix and run the train. Manny suggests accessing the wiring to get it working. Peter and Manny exit the train to repair it. While working, a giant bug appears in front of Peter. He gets scared to death, but the bug does nothing, because Peter also smells like a bug due to the smeared scent. Inside the train, Susan explains to the officer that there's only one female in the bug colony who lays eggs. If she is killed, future generations will be stopped. Meanwhile, Manny finds Chue. He is alive because he mimics bug sounds, which protects him from being attacked. Manny is happy to see him, but is killed by a bug before he can reach his son. Hearing the screams, Susan rushes out and learns that Manny is dead. Peter gets closer to Susan, but the bugs come again. The officer instructs them to get in the elevator and sacrifices himself by distracting the bugs with noise, getting killed in the process. However, the rest of the plan fails as more bugs attack Susan and Chue. To save them, Peter risks his life, helps lift the elevator carrying Susan and Chue, and goes into the tunnel. The elevator malfunctions and falls, killing a bug below. Peter finds large webs and the bug nest inside the tunnel. He spots a gas pipe and breaks it with an axe to trigger an explosion. When his lighter fails, he takes a hammer and tries to create a spark by hitting the metal. Plan works and the entire tunnel explodes like a bomb, causing flames to erupt on the surface. While the male bugs are killed, the female bug confronts Susan and Chue above the station. As it tries to attack Chue, Susan cuts her hand to distract it with the smell of blood. Before the bug could attack her, she jumps onto a train track with a speeding train approaching. The last moment, she jumps away and the female bug is crushed by the train. The danger is finally over. Susan feels relieved, but gets saddened thinking Peter is dead. But it is revealed that Peter survives by jumping into sewage water before the explosion. When he reunites with Susan, they both feel like they've been given a second chance. They decide to keep Chue with them, ending the story with hope. I hope you liked my video. If you did, please like and share it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We keep bringing such content regularly. Peace.